Hi, my name's Austen Clark. I'm with the Network Group and we're here at our Carden Park. This is our summer fun event and I'm joined by an illustrious group here to run our next episode in the podcast of Lean Back Whilst We Lean In. So today I'd like to introduce our guests here. I'll get them to introduce themselves, their names, and give us a little elevator pitch. So first of all, we have Mark Williams from Pensar. Mark, over to you, please.
Hi, Austin. Thanks for having me here. My name's Mark Williams. I own and run a company called Pensar IT. We've been around a while, 29 years in, and started off as a one-man band and built a company and did break fix, or what we know as break fix and pay-as-you-go support, and transitioned to monthly recurring revenue model in about 2005, 2009, that sort of period.
Yeah.
And we started mainly working with Apple Macs, and we soon became familiar with Windows as well, but we're still about 35% Mac across our base and 65% Windows. I've got a team of 10 people at the moment, 3 of whom are based in South Africa and do remote support for us over there, and that works really well.
Very good. We'll explore a little bit about that later on. Luke, tell us a little bit about yourself, your title, and name of your company.
I'm Luke Shepherd. I'm the owner and MD of Holistic IT. We're based in Doncaster, South Yorkshire. We are 22 years old, I believe, this year. We started off originally as an IT reseller and moved into the MSP space about 8 years ago, coincidentally exactly the same time we joined the Network Group. We are about the 1.4 million turnover. We're currently managing 750 endpoints. We still have a bit of a resale business arm to the company, but we're looking at migrating more to services and less to product supply.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And to our last is Scott. Tell us a little bit about
I'm Scott. Scott Clark from ThinkCloud, co-founder, based in East Yorkshire, in Hull. And we've been around 21 years, so we're the youngster of the group, obviously, as you can tell. And we've got about 16 staff at the moment, doing about 2 million in revenue. And we're about 83% managed services at the moment. And
excellent.
We're trying to increase that even more.
Fantastic. So let's just dive into some of the questions here. We're here with Network Group and we're all members of Network Group. Could you tell me a little bit about how long you've been in Network Group and what you get out of Network Group? So I'll start with Scott because I feel it's unfair to always be picking the same person.
Yeah, so we've been, I had to check this today, so we've been with Network Group 8 years now. And originally I joined because I saw a post on social media, I can't remember if it was Twitter, with Phil Morgan, where everyone had the gala. And I thought, what's all this about? I'd been in contact with Richard Tubbs about looking at getting a mentor, and he recommended Network Group at the time. We tried other peer groups, we tried other masterminds, which wasn't industry specific. And we thought we'd give Network Group a try, really. And off the back of that, met some great friends, met some great peers who I'm still friends with now. And it's not just about the members, it's about the vendors as well, get good relationship with vendors. And I think we've quadrupled in size since joining Network Group.
You've quadrupled in size since
so
joining Network Group.
I think we was doing 500k originally. We'll probably do that in profit now as a business. So the business has significantly changed since we joined Network Group.
Fantastic. Luke.
Again, 8 years. We joined because I've got a long-standing relationship with an ex-exec of the Network Group, and as a product reseller at the time, we were looking at moving into managed services, and it was recommended that we attend as a guest, and I was blown away, if I'm perfectly honest. I saw the room as a resource of knowledge and as Scott said, friendships as well. And similar to Scott, I think we're not quite quadrupled, but certainly doubled, and not only doubled in revenue, but switched to service revenue rather than product resale, which obviously comes at higher margins, it's made us a much more sustainable business. And yeah, to be fair, I never regret that decision of joining, no matter what the costs are in terms of time and what it costs to be involved. It pays tenfold, in my opinion.
Wow. pays you so much that you want to come here every time. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And Mark, you're one of the youngsters.
So
now.
it's my turn to be the baby in the group, actually. Yeah. So we've only been a member for the last couple of years. Long-term member of other peer groups, going back till 2010, right up until COVID times. As a business, COVID was bad for us, and we can maybe elaborate on that a bit more later. But I withdrew from doing the peer groups at the time. But a couple of years ago, I was sort of getting the twinge to go back and get involved in a peer group again, and I didn't want to join the same one. And I knew people like you and other people that I knew were members of NG, and various people had said to me over the years, "Oh, what about NG? What about NG? What about NG?" And I'd held off.
You'd held out.
I'd held out. But I don't regret the decision. It's been great. It's been good to rekindle old friendships, build some new ones,
Yes.
and it's generally been very positive. So my number 2 in the business is a regular attendee now as well, and he's getting a lot out of it.
Yes, and it's that Tom.
That's Tom, yeah.
Yeah, I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, he sings the praises every time he comes. So if nothing else, it's been great to develop him as a person and as a leader.
Amazing, absolutely. That's fantastic. It's great to hear and get that feedback, and it's very useful for the rest of our communities. So we're going to start diving into some of the questions we've put together. So the first one I'd like to do is just, everybody's talking AI. AI seems to be the buzzword around all of the communities and peers. Myself, I came back from Denver, was out at PAX 8, and there was a big push around Scott Chasen and the PAX 8 group drinking the Kool-Aid of AI. But where are we as an industry? Where are you on that journey? Is it something that you are doing anything with? Is it something that you're interested in, or is it something that you said, well, look, I don't need to be involved in that. It's another part of the tech. Where are you on the journey? Who would like to start? I'm open for anybody to pick us up.
I'll start. I think
Thanks very much.
for us, I think over the last 12 months, we've taken small steps. We obviously use ChatGPT regular. We've also onboarded Copilot within the business as well, and it's my intention to have everybody within the team using Copilot. We've even considered and will put forward a proposal to do training courses around prompt writing. To me, I feel like, certainly for us internally, AI is an amazing tool that makes you more efficient, enables you to do more with less. And like it used to be a skill to search on Google, it's almost like a given now that everybody can search on Google, even though I suppose there is some techniques to get the best results out of Google. Now writing a good prompt for AI is going to be where you get the real benefit from. On top of that, we also have integrated AI into our ticketing system as well, to help us with ticket triage, with response suggestions in terms of our engineers looking at, okay, this ticket's come in, there's a problem here, it'll say every photo of this or this. It gives them the ability to say, okay, actually, I didn't think of that, that's a good idea. Let me integrate that to part of the resolution. And outside of that, I feel like there's going to be big opportunities for us as a expert in AI to be able to consult with our clients to enable them to become more efficient as well. So I think over the next 12 months, it's about understanding not only how AI benefits us, but how it can benefit the clients that we service as well.
Scott, I mean, yeah, that's fantastic. Scott, I can see you're not looking on as if, yeah, I've heard all this, you know.
I agree with Luke. The prompting is definitely the new Google.
Is it?
Totally agree with that. For me, I think from a Think Cloud point of view, the other co-founder, Leon's doing loads and loads of AI. So he's lecturing at the university. So he's actually in with the university, lecturing with their AI research and development department. He's doing things at the local college as well. And he's speaking at professional organisations about AI. So there's definitely a buzz, and we've got lots of inquiries about him speaking there. I think for us, we need to turn that at Think Cloud so people aren't scared, because we've still got engineers who are terrified that they'll lose the job to AI. And what we need them to do is embrace AI, because actually, if they can do the prompting and be a better engineer, and it helps them progress their career, we've got a job for life. But the issue we've got at the minute sometimes is certain engineers are a little bit scared and they're thinking.
You find there's a bit of fear there?
Oh, there's a lot of fear. I think there's a huge amount of fear, which is rightly so, really. And I think it's
Why?
well, if you think about it, there's loads out there at the minute that AI's taking jobs, AI's doing lots of things which is inappropriate. I think personally, you hear about governments externally, obviously outside of Europe, etc., using AI for drones and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it's like, well, how can we embrace AI? I think there needs to be a plan. So I think we, as IT providers, we need a plan to train our own staff. And also, how can we collaborate together? Because we always collaborate, don't we? But we need to collaborate together and look at how are you using AI versus how is Mark using AI, how is Austen using AI, and have a little workshop together. And then get the best of that, pass it on internally, and then pass it on to our customers. Where at the minute, we're all trying to do our own little siloed bit of work on AI, and none of us are experts. And let's be right, half the products don't even work to what they say they're going to work at the moment. There's one product which works, we all know what it is, but then there's
Well, you're willing to say? No, we're not.
well, I mean, I was trying to do something in Copilot before,
Yeah.
and it took me 4 or 5 attempts. I did it in ChatGPT, and it went out on the first prompts and just did it.
Yeah.
And AI is always going to get better, but for me, I feel like there's so much more we could do together as MSPs to help our staff, help ourselves, help our staff, and then help our customers, and it's win-win for everybody. Really.
I think just to add to what Scott was saying there, I think for my team, I've more or less said to them, look, we need to be experts in AI. We need to learn this technology. And in terms of them fearing their jobs, to me, I feel like they become the custodians of the machine, so they manage the AI. And the example I gave was ticket triage, for argument's sake. A human can work 8 hours in a day and do so much triaging of tickets. But if that human's then trained to manage the AI system that does that for them, they become way more efficient and can do significantly more. Yeah. So I think being skilled and knowledgeable in AI and being able to make the AI systems more efficient, I think will maintain jobs for me.
What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's a certain trend. I think people being a bit doom and gloom about AI, and particularly in the sort of, if you like, creative industry, they think it's the death of creativity. But I think of it like, weren't we all amazed when Google came out and we could type a phrase into a browser and get some responses back that were relevant? It was like, wow, look at this technology. It's just another iteration along the technological path, and you have to embrace these things, So yeah, I can understand, Scott, your point about some engineers in particular may be worried about their job security, but as long as they embrace it, they're going to be fine. I think it's been our job over the last 9 to 12 months to learn the technology, because we started probably a year ago being asked by clients, what's this AI thing, should we be, and we've made it our job to get appraised of it ourselves before we start talking to our clients about it. Yeah. And we've only just actually in the last month put together a proper service offering. So we've sort of productized it as an offering that we can go out to our clients with.
Yeah. We're still learning all this.
And actually do something with it.
Isn't it? Still very new.
I still feel like humans need to oversee the AI. AI is not good enough yet to replace a human, in my opinion. So in that respect, I don't think it would take jobs at this point in time. That's not to say that won't change over time.
You need. I mean, I think a lot of people would tend to use like ChatGPT, for instance, as a drafting tool. It'll give you a really good draft, but you've still got to check it. Yeah. You've still got to do stuff. That said, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing internally now. I've got a couple of guys who are spending a lot of time scripting and actually hard coding as well, some of the tools. To produce the results that we need. So some of the remote support tools we use.
So question I've got there is, so are these some of the roles you're now trying to explore within your businesses? So what kind of roles are you trying to develop within your teams?
Yeah, we've just taken on a third line, somebody who is essentially a third line network engineer type, but he's interested in AI. He's used to coding as well. We can't offer him exactly the same as what he was doing previously, but because of his interest in AI and automation in general, we're going to be able to, leverage his skills and give him something that he wants to do and wants to get into.
Are you guys seeing any of this? What are you doing?
No change for us really. I mean, we're a small team, there's 7 of us. We've just actually made an offer to somebody to be our 8th member of staff, and again, we followed that same level 1, level 2, level 3 engineer route. All of our team seem excited to be able to work with AI, being introduced to these tools, are excited to learn them. I don't think they fear for their jobs, and I don't believe they've got a reason to fear for their jobs either, to be fair. So we're still down that same path of level 1, level 2, level 3 engineers, but we are going to invest in training and development for them to be more knowledgeable and skilled in AI.
Yeah, and yourself, Scott, Leon's going out. He's doing obviously a lot going around educating in college.
To be fair, Leon's doing absolutely amazing promoting AI. He's always learning about AI. He's well ahead of the curve. Even with certain vendors, when he's having meetings with them, he's well ahead of the curve. So what we've agreed is we run on EOS. So it's our year end. So we're just doing our next year's rocks next week. So we've said, well, we need an AI and data strategy to implement that internally, and then also implement that to our customers to fast forward them and really get them working with everything AI. We're a bit like Mark, we've got a level 3 engineer coming in. His job will to be automate key processes within the business. And I heard the other day off somebody where what they were saying is it won't get rid of the totally level 1 task, because you still need people answering the phone and that human touch, and it won't get rid of the really, really technical tasks at the top, but there's a bit of a squeeze in the middle. Yeah. And he was saying that's where there's efficiencies what can be made by making the squeeze in the middle. So things like you said, Luke, about triaging tickets, which is a mundane task. You could triage it based on sentiment in the message, the customer, the contact,
the tone of voice and things like that. And,
there's loads of things you can do which would make huge efficiencies within the business, where you don't need somebody there just triaging tickets. They could be doing something else. So there's definitely loads. I mean, it's kind of endless, really, what we can do. But where do we start? Half the people don't know where to start.
And that's all great, the whole AI question. I was aware, I was saying to some of you earlier, I was wearing Denver at PAX 8's event. And one of the things that came out is everybody's speaking about how to replace the knowledge workers' jobs. And some real doomsday kind of predictions on number of jobs that may go out of this. But one of the things that came out of it is we still got to remember the humanity that is there. That it's all fair enough to say replacing AI, but we still have a humanity in it we buy from people. What do you think of that? I mean, do you see it just replacing everything, or do you still see there's still...
It's not the case. Is that people always buy people. And why do we exist as, let's face it, mainly small business IT service providers? We exist because people don't want to deal direct with Microsoft or with Google or with AWS. They want a human touch from normally a local-ish
Well, they don't even want to deal with the end users, do they? They don't want to deal with us half the time, Microsoft. To be fair, half the time they'll say they've got a price increase and it's like, goes from the distributor, then it gets passed to us, and off you go.
Yeah, our clients want to know that we can deal with that crap for them, but they want a relationship with a company like us.
Yeah. So the humanity part is, and I really like that. There was a phrase that somebody said is look up. Is the thing with AI is that it does have a huge offering, but we still have this ideas which we can come out as humanity, and I think that was a question. Do you still see that we can, as far as AI comes in, there's still a relevance around SMBs, our size of organisations?
Totally.
Definitely, yeah, 100%, because I think as you said, people buy from people, and if you're too big of a company, you almost become a faceless organisation where you never speak to the same person twice. The benefit of working with a small company is you get to know them. They know you by name, they know your staff by name, you get regular contact with the same person over and over again. I don't think AI would take that away.
What we're finding is there's a number of our competitors who say, look, we don't really do anything with AI. So all of a sudden we're having them conversations. That's where we're saying we need to build this service around AI and what can we do. And a lot of it, the thing about AI is about securing your data, because a lot of people use ChatGPT, and we found out there's educational enterprises using ChatGPT, but they're using the free version, so they're sticking all this data into the free version of ChatGPT, and then it's out to the public domain, and they don't know that. Where obviously the advantage of Copilot, which is a little bit behind at the moment, but it'll catch up, is you can lock it within your tenant. And that's the advantage, and that obviously that's what we're educating our customers. Like, ChatGPT is great for certain things, but also if you're going to be using your own data and your own documents, you need to be using Copilot to sort of build that in. Or Gemini, because obviously we used to be a Google house, so Google increased the price, didn't they? Google increased the price by about £4. All the customers kicked off. None of them are kicking off now. They're using the AI. It's like, actually, this is all right.
So let's just move on a bit. One of the questions which we're going to be speaking about tomorrow in a panel, which I'd like to get your thoughts back, is that we've come through many iterations. Mark, you and I have both come through from the break fix, man in the van. I used to call it the 100 yards guarantee, because once the car was 100 yards away, that was the end of the guarantee. But we came through MSP 1, it was a whole thing we did, remember those days. MSP 2, and that was when we got into it, was about 15 or more years ago, when we became that recurring revenue models. And we've come through to MSSP. Where do you see it going next?
I always laugh at this, because how many of our clients actually know what MSP stands for?
How many of our clients care?
And that more importantly as well, do they know what an MSSP is? Do they know what these acronyms actually mean? The acronyms that we give ourselves in the IT channel.
Yes.
Does it really matter? Because to our clients, we're an IT service provider or a solution provider. And not much else really, so we'll call ourselves what we want. We know within the channel that MSP tends to indicate that you've got a monthly recurring service model, and it's good to hear your percentages. We're not far off of that as well, and we know that we've got a sustainable business because of that. But really, turn it around, and what do our customers care? They don't really. So you can call us what you want. At the end of the day, to our clients, we are who we are.
So where do you see, okay, and that's fine, the terminology in our industry, but where do you see there's a direction forming? Is it moving, or is it we still got many years to go in the...
I think things are moving, but you see less problems with endpoints now, because not much is done on them. So I think our direction is around cybersecurity. Everything that's hosted online, is it secure? Is your access to it secure? Obviously AI we've already discussed, that's an area of movement as well. And I sort of see that we've become less about support of customers, more about almost business consultancy. How do you keep them compliant with a regulation? How do you keep them secure? How do you keep them efficient? So I think the direction for us is more around business consultants and less about traditional IT support.
So myself and Leon, we had a heated meeting a few months ago, because he came back and he was saying that, I can't remember the time, it was maybe within 3 years, that we won't be doing IT support. All we'll be doing is looking after AI agents and onboarding AI. When we take a new client on, it'll be taking on their HR AI agent, taking on their sales AI agent. And I said, well, no, it'll never be like that. And then actually, looking back at it and us redeveloping our services with AI, we'll still be doing AI, still be doing IT support, but on the back of that, they might have some agents what do key features within the business, which are linked to the tenant, and we may need to do that. We may need to fix it. So obviously with the agents, there's documents in there, so we may need to update the documents for them, because they might not know how to do that. They may need to change the algorithm of that, so changing certain questions in it. I think we're going to have to do that. When I first saw it, I thought it was really complicated, but again, when I've been shown, actually, it's not that complicated. You've basically got a database you're pumping documents into, and you're changing certain queries within it. It's not like we're doing SQL servers again and all these complicated things. It's a lot easier. It's for the end users to really.
So there's opportunity. There's opportunity.
There's always opportunity.
Fantastic. We're coming to close. We're going to get a couple more questions in, and I'm really feel very privileged to have you three guys on this. And I know that Scott, I don't know quite so much about Luke, how you've been driving your business, and I know this man because we've sat in many meetings that evolve learning about leadership. So my question which I'm raising, and I'm going to get feedback whilst I'm been running these ones. So we were speaking about leadership. Can it be learned, or is it a natural trait that people just have in them?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think the main skills of being a leader, I think, need to be natural. I think you need to be a natural leader. I think you can be taught procedures and policies, and you can learn to manage. But I think as an overall complete leader, I feel like you have to have a level of natural ability that's difficult to teach.
Okay, that's interesting. Scott?
I think it all depends really. For me, I think some of my leadership came from a mentor. So one of my mentors was my karate instructor. Just giving you a little bit of belief. Sometimes you need a little bit of belief to say, yeah, you can go and do this and get you out of your comfort zone. And then on the back of that, so yeah, that's in karate, but it applies to business as well, where if I didn't know karate, I wouldn't have been able to have an interview with 4 people when I had my first ever interview when I was like 16, for instance. If I can get up and do a kata in front of 100 people, then I can get up and talk to 4 people. So I think you need that little bit of belief from somebody, and I think it always helps to have a really good role model. But then you do have to learn leadership because you don't know everything straight away. I think leadership, you always learn as leader. You don't complete leadership, do you? You don't come across, right, I've completed leadership, that's me done now, I'm doing great. It doesn't work like that, does it?
It's a constant learning curve. Mark?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it is not there's not one answer to it, but I think it is a born innate skill, and people are natural leaders. But I think some people don't know that they have leadership abilities, and in those cases, it is something that can be drawn out and developed. Some people will always stick their hand up. I always stick my hand up for everything.
You do?
You know, and I'll be, you know, from the age of whatever, I was captain of the rugby team and it was blah, 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 blah. But then after school, I joined the army, and that taught me more. And it helped me in business later on in life because there was some teaching that I picked up on there, some development that I picked up that has stood me in good stead in later life. So you might have the skills, but you can have them developed, and you might not think you've got leadership ability, but somebody might identify that in you and help you along the way. That's not to say that everybody is capable of becoming a leader. They're just not, and that's just a fact of life, I think.
It's actually a really interesting thing. This has been coming through each of the interviews we've heard, is that there are people who are natural leaders. There are those who can learn to be leaders with effort, but there are also others who it may not be the right thing for them to be leaders because they may be very good at what they do. Don't give me a team to go and manage. So we've just heard this through.
And I think actually, just to carry on that, it's sometimes a skill of a business leader to identify who has the potential to be developed as a leader and who you should leave alone and they just get on with what they're really good at, and they'll be a really valuable member of your team.
Yeah. And have you had to do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Guys?
I think personality type is important as well, and I know Scott and I had a conversation earlier on about assessing people's personality types, and I'm sure they show natural leadership traits if you get the right person for the right job. I think there's also a problem as well that some people think they want to be a manager, they want to be promoted, want to be in charge, but if they end up being the square peg in the round hole, when pressure's on, they'll always revert back to not necessarily being capable of that position, and that's where the problems become, and that's going back to what we're saying about, is it natural? I think if you're naturally that type of person, you will excel when you are a leader, and you can make things better by learning and experience, but I think when the pressure's on, you'll always revert back to the sort of person you are.
Yeah.
If that doesn't lend itself well to being a leader, you will probably not enjoy it.
And I think a mistake that often we as business leaders make is promoting people to manager, when in fact that isn't one of their capabilities.
You called it something?
The Peter Principle.
What's the Peter Principle?
There's a book on it, I don't know which by, Leon talks about it all the time, but basically you can promote somebody who's really good at their job to a level where they're not comfortable, and basically there's kind of a ceiling there, and then they get stuck, and then basically it's your failing as a leader for doing that to them, and then they've got stuck, and then they don't enjoy the job, and they might leave the job. Well, they might have been a really good engineer, but they might not be help desk manager, for instance.
You call that the
Peter Principle.
Peter Principle. Very interesting. Well, we've got three very, very clear leaders here in front of me today, and I've really, really enjoyed enjoyed the interview today and the conversation. So what I'll ask you to do is I'll ask you to, as we're closing off, is could you let the audience know how could they get in contact with you? Because if there are questions, and this is becoming a popular series, so people do want to reach out and speak to those who have been on. So could I ask, Mark, how could people get in contact with you, and could you just tell the audience?
Yeah, sure. It's been great fun, Austin. Thanks very much, and guys, been good too. LinkedIn's always the best way. You'll find me on LinkedIn if you do Mark Williams Pensar, all one word.
One word.
Mark Williams Pensar.
Thanks. Look,
For me, website holistic.it. There's contact information on there, as well as LinkedIn. Luke Shepherd, Holistic IT.
thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks Austin, thanks guys, really enjoyed this. Again, Scott Clark, Think Cloud on LinkedIn, or scott at think-cloud.co.uk.
Fantastic. Chaps, thanks very much.
Thank
Been
you.
awesome. So that's us kind of wrap up here today. We're away off down to have a barbecue, some food, make some friendships and relationships, and enjoy our evening here at Carden Park at our summer fun event. It's been a joy having these three guys on the show with us today. Thanks very much for joining us. Thank you very much for taking time to listen to our podcast.